Hey guys, it's Cameron with Gone Catching Guide Service and Addicted Fishing, and today I'm going to show you a basic power bait setup with a sliding weight that you're going to want to use for trout. So starting with your rod and reel, you're going to want a rod that's rated 4 to 10 pound test. And the reason why you want something light is so it's fun to fight the fish, but also a lot of these lakes and rivers that they stock some trout, they'll put broodstock trout in, and they can be fish that could be 3 to 10 pounds. And so when you come across one of those, you're going to want to have the power to fight those things in as well. A spinning reel, small size, something in the 20 to 30 size will suffice, because you're not going to be fighting, 15, 20 pound fish all the time. You're going to want a nice, light, balanced spinning rod that's going to work for your rod. Now, onto your setup. Your main line's not going to matter too much in this setup. I've just got a real light braided 20 pound test line here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sliding weight onto that line. And depending on how far I need to cast, I'm either going to use something that could be a 1/4 ounce or something up to a 1 full ounce. Then I'm going to have a swivel, and that swivel is going to stop the weight from sliding all the way down to the hook, because one of the big benefits of a power bait rig is that the power bait floats. And so depending on the weed cover of the lake, or if there is any, I'm going to want to make sure that that bait is going to be floating above the weeds. As far as the leader goes, you're going to want something that's 4 to 6 pound test. You want to use a light leader so that the bait can float up above the weeds or the rocks or whatever you're fishing in. Now, your leader length is really important here, because one benefit of power bait is that it floats. And so depending on if you're fishing in grass or weeds where that bait needs to get above it so the trout can see it, you can adjust this leader anything from 12 inches to 4 feet even, whatever it's going to take just to make sure that that bait can get in front of a trout. Now, depending on your local fishing regulations, it is going to be really preferred to use a treble hook when you're using power bait, because you have all those extra points in that material of wire that's going to hold the bait onto the hook. If you're required to use a single hook, you can still use it too, but it's a little more difficult to keep the bait on the hook. All I'll do here is I'll take just some of my power bait, get something that's probably a little bit bigger than a pea, maybe a marble sized bait, and just push it onto the treble hook. And now what I want to do is make sure I pack that bait around here, just like so. Nice little ball, making sure that I use enough to float the bait, but also I don't want to use too much to where the fish are going to nip at it and not actually take the bait. Now that I've got my setup and my hook baited, when I cast out my bait and I let it fish, I'm always going to want to let that bait sink to the bottom. Using that sliding weight is really beneficial here, because as it sinks to the bottom, once I tighten the line up, I'm going to be able to let the rod sit there, and every time that fish pulls on the bait, it's going to slide, the line's going to slide through that egg weight, and it's going to register on the rod, and I'm going to know when I have a fish. So it's real important to use that sliding weight here. If you guys like what you see here, be sure to check out all our videos on our Addicted Fishing YouTube page, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the water.